As I stroll around the deck looking for the buffet, I check out my score up on the display. I need a hypno disc and more cruise credits too. One more party favor will put me into the lead. But the next game is really tough. I'm not too good at too cool, but it may be enough to put me over the edge. My opponent sees 6, so I take a deep breath and give the buttons a click. One door is red and the other is blue. When you play the Muppets.
Welcome back to Geek Salad episode 195, PlayStation 2 Electric Boogaloo. This is part 2 of the episode, where we go into more of our personal picks that haven't been covered already. If you haven't listened to part 1 already, my suggestion would be to go back and listen to that first. But, really, it's up to you. Anyway, on to the episode already in progress. Take it away, Andy.
That now we're in, and we're just getting to our own stuff. So let's roundtable this a little bit. Todd, we'll start with you. What is a game on your list that you would like to talk about?
Oh, geez. As I was going through, I was like, what games did I play? Because, again, I had this, I think I got it when I went to college. So I didn't have a ton of time to play. And when I did, I was watching my roommate. But one of the big games for me, and I know, Andy, you want to talk about this too, but it was that when ESPN brought out their the competition to Madden and things like that.
Yeah.
But specifically ESPN NFL 2K5. I played that game for nigh on 10 years. Kept updating the roster. Tom Brady was still great. I put Randy Moss on the team when Randy Moss goes there. I created characters. I drafted. I think I played about 25 seasons in a franchise.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did have these on my list, and mainly almost as kind of like a goof because they were so trying to just screw EA because EA was like the leader in sports games, and they still are. I mean, and they're still awful, but yeah, the beauty of the ESPN games were that they were cheap. They were like $20.
Mm-hmm.
But you still got the current professional roster of players, and
licensed.
And you could always tell the guys that weren't in the players' union. Which,
Big strong man.
Yes. Well, since
Number
Todd's
60.
bringing it up for the football, I'll talk about the baseball one. So, you could tell the guys that weren't in the players' union because, for the Red Sox, Kevin Millar was not a member of the players' union, so he doesn't appear in the game. Barry Bonds, though, and this is at the tail end of Barry Bonds' career, says, I want this, you can get my likeness only if you call this game Barry Bonds' ESPN Baseball, and you pay me more money than you would pay anybody else to be the front man of your game. They said, I don't think that's a good idea. Took him out of the game and then replaced him, which means number and position, and they called him Joe Young. Like the movie Gorilla.
That's awesome.
But yeah, correct. I played that game too.
Nice spike shot. Woohoo!
Yep. But yeah, Todd, I loved these games. I would come home from work and I would just play like a full 3 series, just like 3 games in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was, I liked this more than Madden. Obviously, I played it for 10 years. And then when I got Madden, I was like, I like my old controls for this. I like Terrell Owens on the cover. Like, come on.
Well, the other thing, too, is that, the controls of this game are a lot easier to figure out. They're way more intuitive than, the EA games, the Madden games, and everything.
Agreed.
So, yeah, I do enjoy those. All right, so also, Joe, what do you have for us in terms of a game on your list that has been mentioned already?
Jesus Christ, the rundown of sequels. Well, again, we covered Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy XII. Twisted Metal Black was a reboot of a car combat
God.
series from the PlayStation.
Fun
Yep.
game.
And 1 and 2
Fun
were
game.
great, and then they went way the fuck off the rails, and I think they sold out to Rob Zombie at one point, but Twisted Metal Black, they brought it back to the original, which is to say there's a lot of running over pedestrians, and nobody's the good guy here.
Oh, I thought you didn't like that though.
Oh, ooh.
It's one thing to say you have to play a bad guy. It's another to say you've got 8 people, they're all awful, and you'll get to kill each other, go ham. Very different.
It's like the Running Man.
Yes. Plus dropping 747s on people. It's very important. Also,
It's not like the Stephen King story. Oh my god!
it's very Stephen King in that
No.
every single person's ending winds up with them getting punished. Nobody ever walks away happy. That's the point. They all get what's coming to them.
Yeah, because like whoever wins gets to make a deal with like a demon thing, right?
Right, and all the guy who had his eyes and lips shut wants is revenge on the doctor that did it to him, and he gets it, but his eyes and nose and lips are all still sewn shut.
Doesn't fix that.
No, everybody walks away very unhappy.
Oh, jeez.
It speaks to
Speaks to your inner emo, Joe.
I wish my lawn were emo so it would cut itself.
So I found a species of black grass. We can make this happen.
Oh man. Okay, Katherine, how about you? What do you have on your list?
All right, so for obscure games, I have SmackDown Shut Your Mouth.
Oh, I have that on my list too. And you have Shut Your Mouth. That's right. I have another one. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Spoiler.
You think you can mess with Brock Lesnar? I don't think so. Go ahead and run. I will find you backstage, in the parking lot, wherever. Bring your alliances. Come with numbers. It makes no difference. Because in here, it's over. F5. Smackdown. Shut your mouth.
Like shut your mouth. I must have picked this up while I was like watching wrestling with you guys.
Yeah.
And like way back when we first reconnected and stuff, and we were like watching things, and you were dating Autumn, and it was like getting into it, and I don't know why I picked this up. And it's just, there are so many ways to adjust your character. Like, you spend half a day just, like, if you don't want to play something out of the box, which why would you? You spend half a day building your character, your entrance moves, your outro moves, all of your moves in the ring, your luck. Like, it's a big investment.
So I futzed around with this for a few days. I built the most violent wrestler ever. All of his moves were just punching the other guy in the head, or stomping him in the crotch from every angle. That was it. That was all he did. And somehow the entire game, no matter what choices you make, everything just evolves into tag match after tag match after tag match after tag match after tag, and the tag mechanics are just not great.
Yeah, I remember that with this one, because this was the first SmackDown game released for the PS2, and I was really excited because I thought that the move mechanics would work better, the animations would look better, and it's just like, oh man, SmackDown 2 is so much better than this game. And that was on the PS1. It's, yeah, like, everybody looked really blocky. The commentary, which I was so glad that in subsequent games they did away with the commentary. There's this whole joke about the last ride.
Yeah.
So every time they would have to piece together all this dialogue to try to make it sound coherent. But it's almost like they were all done in different recording sessions.
Oh yeah, they were one off, with no context whatsoever for each recording. Clearly.
Yeah. This match is for the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Championship.
Now entering the ring, Devil versus Prototype in a one-fall match.
Yeah, exactly. This is such a great Intercontinental match.
Yes.
But the
You
last
try to
ride
get
thing.
Jim Ross in a recording booth for
It
2
wasn't
days.
even that.
Like,
it
come on.
wasn't even him. It was Michael Cole and Taz. I think they used for
That's correct.
for
Yeah.
this one. And this was back before, like Michael Cole was just the worst announcer, and Taz was just getting into it. But
So
God,
what you're saying is there's no excuse. They should have had Michael Cole locked in a room for 2 days and just
yeah,
every
make sure
single
that
scenario of the game.
no bathroom breaks. Exactly.
Right.
No
What
bathroom
else is
breaks
he gonna
whatsoever.
do? It's Michael Cole. I mean.
Yeah. But it's just the thing is when the Undertaker would do the last ride is a very devastating move.
The only
Yeah,
thing I'm really
I
sad about was
really-
I never boosted his motorcycle.
Oh, jeez. But yeah.
I played the I was big into the N64 World Tour, Revenge, No Mercy,
yeah.
those wrestling games, which were perfect, right? So I played those for years, and then I tried, the new generation of games, and I was like, I don't like them as much. So I liked going back to the N64 on that one.
Yeah. Well, No Mercy was a fantastic game, and they've never been able to try to figure out a way to bring that back for whatever reason.
I feel like they
But-
tried with the SmackDown games,
Naturally.
but it just wasn't there for me.
Yeah. So
One thing I did find fun was that it was that era of The Rock where he would slap you in the face and then somehow cover 3/4 of the ring dancing around you in the time it took you to stand back up and then do
Yeah.
it again. Like he just spun around you like a top while you were trying to stand back up. It was great.
God damn it,
Yeah.
Rocky.
It's the
Yeah, it
most
was
frustrating thing.
Yeah, The Rock is definitely like the lead in that series.
Oh yeah.
Well, he was the
Um,
lead in WWE at the time.
That's
Right,
very
right,
true.
exactly. It was
And
it was
it's
definitely
his
not Triple
catchphrase,
H.
so
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah,
So-
tell me about it. I served him 23 shots with the sledgehammer and he still took me out in 3 shots.
Oh, God.
Well, obviously, you didn't smell what The Rock was cooking.
No. We played this. There was this game called. It wasn't Heroes of Wrestling, but it was like Legends of Wrestling or something like that. It would have like all these older, non-signed wrestlers, and I remember Jim and I, because we couldn't figure out how the game played, like you couldn't figure out how to make a pin, and it was pretty much Terry Funk and Arn Anderson pile driving each other into Concussion City for like hours on end. It was just like, how do you pin? How this game's stupid. I can't play this anymore. But on the subject of wrestling games, I'm going to jump over to one of mine so we can stay on topic here. My favorite of all of the SmackDown games for the PS2 was SmackDown Bring the Pain, which is the one with Brock Lesnar on the cover.
When you're Brock Lesnar, you gotta watch your back. Chris Benoit tried to take me out in the Elimination Chamber. You're nothing, Lesnar. And that punk John Cena
I run this terrain. Here comes the pain.
came after me backstage. But no matter what they do, no matter how hard they try, there is nothing and no one that can stop me.
You and me, bra and panties match right now.
This game had the roster was loaded. Their the story mode was great. They really dug deep for the create a wrestler aspect of giving you moves you really hadn't seen like these guys do before. There were moves like the Emerald Fusion, which got banned because you could drop somebody on their head. AJ Styles clashes in there. There were so many awesome moves. But for
That's
wrestling
a great
games,
name for a move.
what the Styles Clash?
Yeah.
I always thought you should call it the Style Driver, but that's just me, and
I mean, that's cute too, but Styles Clash is just
Stone Cold would outlaw it.
yeah.
Oh god. But for me, when it comes to any type of really any game in general, but sports games, wrestling games, the move mechanics have to make sense, and they have to almost feel like a second nature to you. And that's the thing with Bring the Pain. The controls are so easy. And it's so easy for you to pull off finishers and do your secondary moves and do rope moves without having like this convoluted button smash or, have to use the analog sticks to try to get half your moves done. Like the 2K games suck. They are awful. Like they're really difficult to play because it's like you have to slay a dragon while you're holding down on L3. And while you're doing all that, you have to spin R3 around, holding down on both R1 and L2. And it's just like, stop it. It doesn't need to be this hard.
I spent a lot of time tooling on that other SmackDown game, but I will give you that. All the finishers were like one button. At worst case scenario, toe kick into one button. It was very simple.
Yep. All you got to do is get them stunned, watch the SmackDown thing roll across, and then hit your move.
Yep.
So, all right. How about Joe? What do you got on your list that hasn't been discussed yet?
All right. The first one on my list is Black.
You'll never see us. We're the shadows behind the headlines. Faceless.
3 months later, he turned up in Moscow. Always one step ahead.
This is our world. A deniable world. A world that no one can admit exists.
Which is it's just gun porn. That's what even the developer said. Yeah, it's gun porn. That's all it is.
I love that fucking game so much.
And it's so because that's all it is. It's straightforward. It's you, guns, go kill people. That's it.
It was a beautiful first-person shooter. It was a great time.
Oh, the sound. But the thing is, for such a simple concept, the execution is top notch. The sound design, the gameplay. I mean, the tack. You're only allowed 2 guns. You got your primary and your secondary, so you kind of have to strategize a bit. Okay, what am I going to? And those are the 2 guns you have to stay with through the entire mission. So you kind of have to.
No, you could swap.
Yeah. There are certain breakpoints where you could swap.
Stuff where you could find other weapons.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
But it's such a fun game. Like I said, it's gun porn. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The one thing that sticks with me about that game forever is there's one scene where the level opens up and you are supposed to cross this derelict bridge with a bunch of abandoned cars on it. And the level opens up and one guy asks the superior officer, so how exactly do you expect us to get past all those swinging dicks out there with rocket launchers? And the commanding officer replies, by asking nicely, now get moving.
And that's another game that kind of either deserves a follow-up or deserves a sequel. I'm surprised no sequel has ever been made for it.
I know, right?
Yeah. At this point right now, wouldn't they just remaster the old game?
No.
Yeah.
The topic hasn't aged well because the Black Ops are like the Serbian Civil War and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd kind of have to do a sequel at this point.
and
It's
just
all
make
well,
up
well,
some
Europe stuff.
Right. Plus the thing is, the end of the game ended on a cliffhanger.
Right.
Oh God.
No, it was. It was like, okay, here's your next mission. That's it.
Yeah, I spent the next 5 years looking for a sequel to that shit. The fact that they never put one out killed me.
All right. So, Mike, what about you?
Well, I managed to borrow this game from other Joe, but the Xenosaga series.
Okay.
It is a very much a JRPG, but it's a sci-fi one as opposed to the usual kind of like either modern or fantasy style.
It is a very soft sci-fi.
Yeah, it's got a really weird, deep mythology to it. But basically, you play these characters who they're trying to deal with this alien race called the Gnosis, who basically, if they touch you, they basically kind of turn you, like shatter you like glass almost. But it's cool because when you get into like a battle scene, most of the characters have like these mechs that they can actually get into, and then they have like much more powerful weaponry, and then they have to leave it to let it recharge. But it was supposed to be a 6-game series, but because the sales were never quite there, they were forced to kind of crush it into 3 games. And that's why the second and third one, they're still fun, but they're...
Time out. Now, there's a history to this in that it's a sequel, which is to say it's supposed to be a remake of Xenogears, which was also a soft sci-fi mech-centered series on the PS1 that also didn't get finished because they ran out of funding, and therefore the second disc of that game was just text and boss battles.
Yeah. Which
so
I've actually got.
They didn't have the funding for the second half of the series is very on brand.
Yeah, I mean it's a shame because like the mythology has such like a wide scope. I mean it has to do with these like giant golden like statue things that are found around the universe, and I guess like this is supposed to kind of represent like the 12 apostles or something like that. It gets
so much worse than that, dude. They're called the Zohar. They're representative of the Sephiroth from esoteric Jewish mysticism. Like it's so much weirder than you think.
Yeah, it gets really deep, but because it was kind of scaled back so much, they were really kind of forced to shoehorn everything kind of in. So the second and third game are kind of they don't live up to the hype, but they're still fun, and I really, really enjoy at least the first game very much so.
Very cool. All right, so Todd, back to you.
Cool.
Hello.
Right. Hello.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you just fine.
All right. So let's see. I'm going to go with my next favorite game, and I was really big into the sports games, but NBA Street Volume 2 was absolutely wild. I played this game nonstop for about 2 years straight. Unbelievable game. Licensed, NBA PA licensed, but it was 2-on-2. It was like NBA Jam, but outside, and you had all these classic characters come in. You could have the ABA ball. It was unbelievable. It was such a fun game.
Nice.
Anyone else? No, I'm the only one.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
And honestly,
check it
a lot
out.
of it I've never been into basketball games, like basketball video games. The closest I ever got was Double Dribble for the NES.
Yeah, I've never been able to get into basketball games. I always find the controls very hard to get used to.
Yes. So, all right. Also, Joe, what's another game on your list?
Okay, next up in the lineup is Silent Hills 2 and 3.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said, Mary. My wife's name. It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself. A dead person can't write a letter. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. So then, why am I looking for her?
Okay.
Talk about a mind bender.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the dark shit. What can I say? So Silent Hill 1 was on the PS2. Silent Hill 1 was on the PS1. 2 and 3 were sequels on the PS2. Silent Hill 2 has minimal amounts to do with the first game. Silent Hill 3 is a direct sequel to the first one. In all of them, the game is generally predicated on the same town, which is based on Centralia, Pennsylvania. It's awful. You wander around during the day and there are monsters, and then the night falls and you wind yourself up in a blood-covered chain link hospital being chased by nurses with no arms or face and giant needles pointing out of their head.
I was gonna say, if you want to disabuse yourself of any sexy nurse fantasies, play this game.
There's the truth. So the Silent Hill movie was mostly predicated on 2, not 1.
Okay.
Which is to say that whole Pyramid Head guy, who is fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was from 2.
Yeah.
And there's always a bad, a good, and a best ending for these games based on how you do with the puzzles and what choices you make over the course of the game. But the best option is generally to not worship the evil demons. Typically.
Oh, maybe that's where I've been going wrong all this time.
Damn it!
Just, cutting to the chase. Moving on.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Katherine.
All right. A couple games I was going to talk about were X-Men Legends 2: Rise of Apocalypse, but that is just a poor showing to what would be Avengers Ultimate Alliance on the Xbox 360. And Pirates Legend of Black Cat, which is a white whale for me, and I'm still trying to work on that one. But no, let's. And I picked it back up, and I will get through it someday. God help me. But no, let's talk about it. It's Pirates is a great game, good story, good controls, but very complicated. But let's move on to one of my top 2 favorites, Gauntlet: Dark Legacy.
Yes.
I am on my 3rd copy of this game. I've got 3 discs of this because I keep wearing it out, because it is fun, and it's also something I can play while marching in place or working on a mini stepper, in fact, and like getting some really good cardio. Each level's about, some levels are only 10 minutes, some levels are 30 minutes, but it averages out to 20 minutes a level. It's a good cardio workout. It doesn't require a lot of work. It's not like a lot of video games where you like find yourself writhing with the control trying to help your guy jump over the thing, and you maybe fall out of your papasan like I might have done on Tomb Raider at one point. Yeah, it's pretty easy to play, but it's super fun, and I've beaten it with almost every character at this point. I'm still working on it, and I do have Sumner unlocked. I'm ready to go.
It's definitely a great grind. Of all the, and it is strictly a grind. There is 0 plot. 0.
Well, technically there is, but I mean,
bad dudes had more of a plot than this, okay?
It is not Diablo, okay? It is not the Diablo series.
Right.
Diablo had a shitload more plot. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. It's not Diablo.
Yeah, he's agreeing with you. It's like, it's old style video game. Like I used to watch my friends play Gauntlet in like the arcade. Yeah, I never saw it at Kelly's Corner, but I watched my friends play it at the student union at UMass Amherst, and it's like fireball. And
Warrior needs food badly.
And if you're a dick, you can shoot the food.
And they totally kept that. And I get that at some point. I'm like, Tech Writer needs food badly. I need lunch. And that's just a classic line. But yeah, and it's even though it's so easy and it's not hard, it is still so they injected so much fun into it. There's the point where you unlock an egg and you turn into Pojo, the fire-breathing chicken, for a little bit. And the fact that there's you can unlock alternate versions of all the major characters. So it's like I'm currently playing through as the hyena version of the Jester. But yeah, I like I said, I got this as a present from my good friends over 15 years ago, and they gave me Gauntlet Dark Legacy with it, and I still really, really love it. Mm-hmm. Still playing on my original PS2, still play, and I'm on my third disc. I had to order the most recent one online. I'm like, because the other two weren't loading right, and I'm like, I need to play this in the morning so I can work out. Come on, God damn it!
I'd like to point out that the only worthwhile character to play in that game is the Jester, because his idea of a power attack is dropping a crate full of chickens on people. This is very important.
He also goes, "It's hammer time."
Yes, and then whips out a giant squeaky hammer that shoots out boxing gloves. Like, he's absurd. It's a great time.
All right. How about you, Joe? What do you got on there? What else you got on your list?
All right. For my next one, I picked a game that pretty much reinvigorated a franchise and redefined gameplay. And that was Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Oof.
You are a long way from home, cowboy. You have my sympathies.
Guess that's a local's way of breaking the ice. Anyway, you know what this is all about. My assignment is to search for the president's missing daughter.
What? All by yourself?
I'm sure you boys didn't just tag along so we could sing Kumbaya together at some Boy Scout bonfire. Then again, maybe you did.
Oh, you crazy American. It's a direct order from the chief himself. I tell you, it's no picnic.
I'm counting on you guys.
Yeah. And up until this game, I was not a fan of the Resident Evil series. Just because I hated the fixed camera. I thought the controls were wicked janky and just not easy to play with.
Yeah, I had a hard time with that with the PS1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Resident Evil 3 was just hard to play. It was not fun. But RE4 redefined the way... basically, it defined the third-person shooter genre. Yeah. Especially with the over-the-shoulder camera, point and shoot. And it made Resident Evil 4, the Resident Evil series, fun. I enjoyed... Resident Evil 4 is probably my favorite game in the series.
Okay. Yeah. I honestly haven't played because I kind of stopped paying attention. But was Resident Evil 4 the one that ended up on the GameCube first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have played that then because we had it for the GameCube. I think Cicerone loaned it to me.
Yeah, and it starts off with you basically in a town, and all of the townspeople are coming to try and kill you, and it's a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass, but it's easier to deal with than it is in Resident Evil 3.
I've never played Resident Evil 3, so I couldn't tell you that.
Joe, I just need your one opinion from you.
What?
How do you feel about that fat fucking fish? Because I got a buddy going through that game right now, and he is just beside himself about how much he hates that fat fucking fish.
Just keep at it. That's all you can do.
All right. Mike, how about you?
All right. Well, the last one on my list is Dark Cloud 2.
15 years ago, the world was laid to waste, and all that remained was the town of Palm Brinks. Our enemy, the one who destroyed everything, was a mysterious ruler. His name? Emperor Griffin. We still don't know why he did this. why he destroyed our world. The reason that he did not also destroy Palm Brinks was because of a stone he believed was hidden in our town. Yes, the stone I'm wearing right now.
Now,
Okay.
Roguelikes.
Huh?
It's a roguelike.
I'm not sure what that means.
The levels are randomized. The loot is generally randomized.
Yeah.
And death is permanent.
Well, I mean, there was Dark Cloud 1, which was fun, but it was pretty much you go down a dungeon, like each level is pretty much the same, but it's different layout. It looks the same, it's just different layout, different monsters, whatever. And you've just got to like find these things to unlock your town, and you can like rebuild the town how you like it. Dark Cloud 2, it was much more story based. Similar game mechanics, but like you start off in this town, and you're like you have to get through all of the sewer levels in order to escape the town. And you're being attacked by this circus grandmaster who's got like this giant robot clown. But
the plot was absurd, but it existed in this game. He's not kidding. There was no plot to the first game.
Yeah.
I just heard that. It was just like there's a circus master and there's a giant evil clown and what?
Now here's where it gets crazy.
But what was cool is that like you could like take pictures of various enemies, and then that would like give you ideas for different inventions, and then you could like collect items around the town and use that to create items and weapons that would help you out, and you could use that to improve your current weapons. And eventually you escape the town, and you find that everything outside of the town is pretty much a wasteland that you have to like rebuild, much like the first game. But the second game was such a vast improvement over the first one. It was really, really well done.
Mike, it's been years. Do me a favor and refresh my memory. Did they bring back the whoopin' tuna? I'm not kidding. In the first game, there was a guy whose weapon was a frozen tuna.
Oh, that does sound vaguely familiar.
I'm willing to bet they brought it back.
It sounds vague. I believe it sounds like something you would encounter in the sewers.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And I do know one of the mini bosses was was the ringmaster riding a giant elephant and trying to stomp you.
Well, I mean, everybody needs a hobby, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, this is so much fun. So much fun.
All right. So on my list, I've got a PS2 exclusive game to talk about, War of the Monsters.
Ooh.
Was that Godzilla?
Yeah.
Ooh,
No, it wasn't. It was
wasn't
done
Godzilla.
by Incog.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was Godzilla, not Godzilla.
Yeah, the Godzilla, King Kong with the serial number scraped off.
Yeah.
Right.
Giant lizard creature.
Yeah.
Giant monkey.
Like Lizard, Gorilla. They're pretty much named after He-Man characters.
I played that. The same guys with Twisted Metal Black. That was a great game.
Yeah.
That game it's so much fun. And this is one of the ones I dug up. And my son just absolutely had a blast playing it, because the beauty is that there's nothing to the game. It's just you are one of the monsters. Your opponent is another monster.
Yep.
And you beat the shit out of each other, but there's also an element of you're in these environments that you can interact with. You can grab cars and stuff and throw it right at them.
Yeah.
Almost like a 3D version of Rampage.
Yes.
I was just thinking this sounded Rampage.
It does. And it's the cool thing with it is that it plays up very similar to like an old 50s sci-fi horror movie. Even the music is very similar to that.
So this is a bunch of teenagers?
Oh, if only. No, it's
No.
you don't really see any human beings in it, but it's really a fun, cool, simple game that you could lose 2 hours just playing it, because you just get lost in playing the game.
That kind of reminds me of another game Give me a second. Let me look it up to see if it was a PS2 game.
All right.
It's
All right, but
fast too. Things keep happening is very much an action game.
Oh yeah, if you get
don't
knocked
really get a
down,
minute.
it is tough to get your momentum back if you get knocked down, because if you're playing against somebody, they're just going off on you the entire time.
Yep.
So yeah, it is a lot of fun, and I remember also it's one of those games they made it really appealing because it was only like $30 as opposed to most of the $50 price points of some of the games.
Yep.
Always a good thing. What?
I'll let you know when we get to me.
Oh, okay, great. All right, so due to timing restrictions, we got to cut it down to everyone gets one more pick. So make them good. So Todd,
and I gotta make it quick because other Joe's got something to say.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, you know
Sorry.
what then? Why don't we jump to other Joe first, and then we'll go back to you, Todd? How's that sound?
Whatever works.
So
I got this
previously, when we last left, also Joe, he was like, "Oh shit."
So I've got this list, and I'm going to audible into Katamari Damacy.
I knew that was going to be Mike's response. I just knew it. I fucking knew it.
The Katamari games are so much fucking fun.
They are, and that's how that started it all. $20 got you a copy of the most absurd game ever. It was done on such a shoestring budget. They did their translation through Babelfish.
And pretty much every Katamari game has the same plot line. You're the prince of the universe. Your father gets drunk and destroys the universe. You have to rebuild the universe.
Yep, and he's horrific and abusive to you the entire time.
Yep.
The prince has the worst family life, and you start with the tiniest things. It's like you have this ball, and it picks things up, but they're only if they're 25% of the total diameter of the ball. So you start off with a thumbtack being a big pickup, and you end with Mount Fuji being a small pickup. Like, by the time... The worst part, though, besides the music, which is terrifically catchy and will keep you from sleeping at night, is the horrified screams of the town people when you finally get big enough to pick them up, because you will. And it's so bright and positive, but if you stop and think about what you just did, you just go, damn, I'm a monster.
I have the worst father.
As a person who has played some games, but mostly enjoys watching people play games, I hate watching Katamari. Joe's not allowed to play it while I'm home.
Yeah, I can't see it being a fun game to watch, but it's a fun game to play.
No, like, I can't even stand it if it's in another room. The music is so awful.
Thank you for that glowing endorsement. That was all I had. Moving on.
Awesome. Todd.
All right. So everything that I had left on my list was also licensed movie and TV show stuff. Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which was a great just hacking away with your lightsaber. 007, Everything or Nothing, which tried to recreate the wonder and the glamour of GoldenEye. Didn't really work. But my next choice is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Chaos Bleeds. One of the hardest games I've ever played in my entire life.
The show may have ended, but the adventure is just beginning.
You are so dead.
Bring it on, living dead.
Play as Buffy and 5 other main characters from the show.
Don't try this at home.
Another trophy for Spike.
Come on, you're not even trying.
Man, you guys reproduce like bunnies.
Was that like a top-down beat-em-up?
No, it was third-person beat-em-up.
Yeah. So, like 3/4 angle, top-down.
Yeah, and it was more puzzles and just it was so frustrating, and there was no real good save mechanism for it, and I spent months trying to beat that game. It was I had to go to GameFAQs.
On the plus side, they got most of the TV show cast to voice the characters.
That's true.
That's cool.
They could not get Sarah Michelle Gellar, obviously.
Surprise!
Big shock.
And they could also not get Emma Caulfield to do Anya.
That is surprising. I love her.
That is very surprising. Yeah.
Don't you big shock me. I'd like to point out for X-Men Legends and Legends 2, they did get Patrick Stewart to do to do the good Professor X.
Peace Stew.
Yeah.
Peace Stew.
Peace
Come on,
Stew.
it's Peace Stew.
Peace Stew.
You just
Yeah.
gonna let me leave me hanging with that one? It's because we're not face to face.
Absolutely. I don't think he's ever turned down a role. Frankly, it's just most people don't have the guts to offer them to him.
That's what he's counting on. So, anything else about Buffy?
Yeah, great settings. Every level was pretty spot on to the TV show, including the magic shop, the mall, things like that. The graveyard. It was really, really well done.
My goodness.
I think Activision, like not even a huge studio either. So
yeah,
I was really happy with it. And I think I got it for like $15. So it was all good.
Yeah, cool.
There you go.
All right, Catherine, what about you?
All right, the last game I'm going to talk about, and this is epic, Muppet Cruise Party.
Look, everybody, the pictures from our cruise are ready. I've made a really cool photo album, too.
Adventure on the high seas, okay? The food, the cannons.
Oh, the shopping!
May I interject something?
So many good times. Hey, look, here's when Animal ran right off the boat to catch his puck.
Water! Now that was funny!
Yeah, those are the things I really like to remember.
You mean our moonlit walks on the deck, Hermie?
Yeah, sure. Those were nice too, Piggy, but I was talking about playing those terrific games. Just look at that tomato, huh?
It seems like only yesterday.
It was only yesterday, but we can enjoy the memories immediately thanks to Muppet Lab's instantaneous photo processing.
Fast!
Indeed.
Yep, Muppet reference drink.
Everybody take a drink. And Muppet Cruise Party is a really playable game. It is amazing. It is fun. The music is fun. They got the current Muppet performers did the voices. It's just infinitely playable. Like Joe won't play it against me, but what we've done is like I'll play it, and it's like there are games that I'm good at, I play them. There are games he's good at, he plays them. There's games that nobody's good at, we either play them or just walk away from the TV for a bit. The Dune Buggies is unplayable.
Yeah,
but most of the games, most of the games are extremely playable. Unlike Muppet Race Mania for the PlayStation 1, which is just crap. But yeah, the Muppet Cruise Party is just so much fun.
Muppet Cruise Party is what I think of when I think of a licensed game, and that it's about 75 to 80% playable. It's 100% enjoyable. It's like 80% playable, and there are points at which you just have to throw down the controller in frustration and walk away because whoever was assigned that level just didn't care. They already got paid. The nice part is because it's a party game, that doesn't have to be the be-all and end-all. You don't hit a level and go, well, can't beat the game now. We're stuck here. You just go, okay, didn't win this one. I'll get them next time. So it works out.
I think I had a copy of Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds, and I walked away from it so quickly that it was like I went to GameStop, bought it, tried it, walked back, turned it in. Whereas Muppet Cruise Party, frustrating it was, yeah. The Muppet Cruise Party, I still play it. I had it for over 10 years, and I'm still playing it.
Nice,
fun.
Nice. All right, Joe.
All right. So, you knew eventually I had to bring this series up, but Gran Turismo 3 and 4.
Joe's talking about cars, drink.
God damn it.
Well, when the thing about the GT3 and then later GT4, I kind of lump them in together because like I said, the PlayStation was such a huge advancement in technology in terms of hardware and graphics that the things they were able to do with GT3 put it so far above Gran Turismo 2, where they were able to focus more on the physics of the vehicles, made them a lot more realistic looking. made it more of a driving simulator than just a straight up arcade game. I mean, the CD came with a driving manual. You basically had to learn how to drive, to be able to play this game and play it well. And they focused so much attention to detail on the vehicles and the physics that where GT2 had over almost like 699 playable cars, GT3 only had less than 400.
Oh.
Just because of all the focus that they put into it. Now GT4 came out a few years later, but they knew what they could do with the hardware. Now, they were able to exploit the PlayStation hardware a lot better than they could when the game first came out and the first GT3 came out. That they were able to add more cars to it while still maintain the high fidelity to the physics and the graphics and stuff like that. So, and I think that's kind of the story of the PlayStation 2 over its lifetime is, as more people figured out how to exploit the hardware, the games just got better and better and better.
Hence its long life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of things a lot of games on PlayStation 2 that you think about is like, there's no way this game should have been. There's no way this hardware should be running this game.
Yeah.
Joe, I want to compare and contrast from you on Need for Speed versus Gran Turismo.
I love Need for Speed, especially the Need for Speed Underground, because I like the open wheel. Need for Speed is such an arcade though. It's such an arcade game. I mean, it drops you in and you play. Whereas Gran Turismo is more the simulator, more the for the enthusiast, quote unquote, where Need for Speed Underground is more, or the Need for Speed series is more for the casual gamer. I just want to drive, a quick driving game that I can get into.
Holy shit, you did that.
What, you're surprised?
It's just that you bit on the bait, that's all.
You do not throw that bait out to me. You do not throw out the car bait to me. I will take it.
All right, Mike. Do you have any other games on there?
Yeah, I'm throwing an audible. Just to remind you, your War of the Monsters reminded me of a game. It was a 2005 game that is actually getting a remake coming out in July. It's called Destroy All Humans.
Let's go sunning. It's so good for you. Let's go sunning. Neath the sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you breaking news from the observatory at Rockwell.
In over 20 years of broadcasting, I'm at a loss for words. I can only describe what I'm seeing as not from this Earth. Something is emerging out of the spacecraft. It's raising its hand. Perhaps a sign of peace. No! We are under attack!
Oh shit, that's getting a remake.
That is getting a remake coming out in a little over a month. Actually, about 2 months.
I might have a copy of that around here somewhere. At least I did. Wasn't that a Flash game originally?
No, it came out on PlayStation 2 and Xbox.
I remember that game.
Yeah, you play an alien who named Crypto, full name Cryptosporidium 136. And
Lord,
basically
so deep.
And basically you'll land in like 1950s America. And your character basically thinks that like the cows are the dominant life form. And you use all these like hypno beams and just like these weird alien weapons to just completely like destroy humans and capture them and do all kind of weird things to them, all while trying to avoid the military and the men in black. But it was like fully playing up the 1950s stereotypes and using all that for humor, and it was just really, really fun. Like each time your character gets killed, a new version gets reawoken because they're just all clones.
Yeah, that platform was really the last hurrah for side-scrolling beat-em-ups like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very kind of like GTA, but with more of a humorous sci-fi 50s bent to it.
Cool.
And I can't wait for the remake.
That's awesome. All right.
So, Andy.
I got one more left on my list here, and that is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I believe Katherine referred to it as Avengers Ultimate Alliance.
No.
Colonel Fury.
Doom, I'll have your head for this.
I have little time for your petty threats, Colonel. Surrender your ship now, or I shall destroy it.
Not on my watch.
This is a priority alert to all metahumans. UNN Alpha requests immediate assistance.
Thor, take care of those gunships. Spider-Man, draw them towards the stern.
Sure thing. I just love being a target.
Wolverine, you
do it, Boy Scout. I don't take orders from you.
Yeah, it's essentially this.
There's an Avengers Ultimate Alliance was on the Xbox, at least that's what we have.
Right. But the Marvel Ultimate Alliance is the PlayStation version.
Yeah.
Where essentially it's.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain it was a PS1. It was a PS exclusive. I could be wrong about that.
No.
It came out on Xbox and Xbox 360 because I had those first and I played them on that.
And it was just the cool thing about the game is that there was next to no unlocking you needed to do. Your characters were readily available to you. All of their different costumes and the different entities that they carried, like Captain Marvel was also Warbird, and she was binary. And she was Ms. Marvel, and you could just switch those out at any point in the game. And it was just this great little co-op game that they just brought back for the Nintendo Switch, Ultimate Alliance 3: The Dark Order.
Yeah.
Which is I got it. It's like I broke down and bought a game during our lockdown here. And I'm having a good time playing it with my son, but there's so much unlocking you have to do through like other means. It's just like I want to like play around with these characters, and I want to enjoy this without having to go through all these trials and stuff. God damn it! I just want to unlock these suits. But,
good luck with that.
Didn't they release both Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Ultimate Alliance 2 on the PS4 and Xbox One recently?
They did. They were. I think they were remasters.
Yeah.
I just honestly I couldn't justify the price for two games that were at that point like 15 years old. And yeah, sure, I'll pay $50 to pop for each of those now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was like the last game I really got into on the PS4. I said the PS2 rather. Were those Ultimate Alliance games? And yeah, I just really enjoyed them. So that's what I'm using to close this out with.
Cool.
So yeah, so PS2. Well, I know. Like I just rehooked up mine. Katherine never undid hers. You guys still have yours like up and running somewhere in your homes, or?
I've got mine somewhere. I think it's in my closet somewhere.
I have it.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
I still have it downstairs in my hobby.
Man cave.
Yeah, my hobby room. It's still on the It's still on the TV stand next to the TV in my hobby room.
I still have a tactical mech game that Joe needs to play for it, frankly.
Yeah, okay. Well, sounds like a game swap whenever we get out of the other side of this.
Whatever, I'll loan it to him. He'll leave it in the garage for 3 days. It'll be fine.
How about you, Todd?
I have it. It's in a box somewhere, but it last I checked, it was in proper working condition, and I would bust it out again for sure.
Excellent. Yeah. I was thrilled. I found my controller extenders too. So.
I mean, also.
And I still have my tap, so we can get 4 people playing Gauntlet if we want.
Ooh.
Someday when we can have 4 people in the same room.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know on PlayStation 4 they've got this thing called PS Now that they've got a whole bunch of old like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, and PlayStation 3 games available for like you pay like a monthly subscription for it, and you can download a whole bunch of them and you can play them online. They're still solid. They're still excellent games.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the mini PS2 like they've done with the NES and the SNES.
Oh, they did. Well, they did the PlayStation 1, and it was absolutely terrible. The games were awful.
Maybe they'll smarten up and give me the games I want.
Yeah, like all of them were like licensed by like only one or two particular companies. They couldn't get a lot of the licenses for the games.
Right, but there is a
I figure
hack.
they can get Gauntlet. I figure they can get Gauntlet 2 and Gauntlet Dark Legacy, and yeah, there's hacks like we've hacked our NES.
Yeah,
NES,
I've hacked both my minis. Yeah, I've hacked both my minis, and one of my friends actually did hack his PS Classic.
Oh, nice.
So it's entirely possible to do. So anyway, first of all, great conversation. Thank you very much for joining us, Joe.
Yay!
My pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me.
Your expertise. Todd, as always, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
Yeah, it's nice to take this stroll down memory lane. And then next episode, we're going to be talking about something a little current. We're going to be discussing what the hell have we been doing in our downtime since March 14th.
I'm not allowed to talk about it, it turns out.
Yeah, well,
You're
some of us, yes.
Some of it
us
you're
got
allowed to talk
busier.
about, and some of us have are keeping working and have releases and are going nuts.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. No, I know that there's been a lot of like so as far as I'm aware, Joe and Mike, you are still going to work, right?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So Todd, Katherine, and I have been working from home. Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. But what we're going to discuss is what we've been doing kind of as our downtime thing, because we can't go to restaurants or movies or anything. What have you been watching? Have we picked up any hobbies? Have we done any of that? So that's going to be our conversation for our next episode. If you want to let us know what you've been doing during lockdown, you can let us know on our Facebook page, which is Geek Salad Podcast, and on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio. We're also going to probably put the call out to that about a couple days before we go to record this episode. You can also check out the archive to Geek Salad at geeksalad.podbean.com or on the Podbean app. And you can get the podcast wherever you get your podcast, whatever app you are using to catch your podcast, please use that. We also have a YouTube channel where we do weekly movie reviews, so you can check that out on YouTube at Geek Salad Podcast. And don't forget, if you haven't bought swag from our Geek Salad storefront and TeePublic, just go to teepublic.com and do this keyword search, Geek Salad Podcast, and you can find t-shirts, coffee mugs, and now you can get PPE as well. So
and we've all bought some swag from the site ourselves, just to let you know.
Yes, we have.
Exactly.
We don't get it free.
No, we do not get it free. But yeah, check that out there. And until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Joe.
I'm Katherine.
Go forth and be nerdful. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye. Stay safe.
I'm home, Dad. Listen, something crazy is going on.
Cheryl, you're back. What happened?
Well, it's like this. And that's about it.
Oh, my poor little Cheryl. I can't believe that. I'm going to Silent Hill, and I'm gonna bust some heads.
Oh, Dad, you're the coolest!